what are two things that almost anybody likes to talk about when it comes to movies? Stephen King and John Carpenter. Well, at least for me. I like talking about John Carpenter, and I like talking about Stephen King stuff. But for this case right here, we're going to talk about one of the many plethoras of Stephen King's novels turned into a movie. In the hands of someone like John Carpenter to take this particular source material and turn it into his own vision is freaking outstanding. Now, for this being a supernatural 1983 horror film, it's fucking great. For me, on the other hand, it is supernatural, but I also think psychological too. Because, let's just say, our main character, our good buddy Arnie, ends up, well, his mind starts getting fucked up later on, but we shall get to that. So, Christine, still walking to me, still talking to me. Christine. Great song by The House of Love. I admire that song, and I admire their debut album. But getting back to the car and the haunted 1958 Plymouth that we have. So, this particular movie, Arnie Cunningham, who is a dork and a nerd, and he's dealing with his own problems of the bullies that are making his life hell throughout his days at school. But he ends up buying himself a 1958 Plymouth Fury named Christine. He starts to develop an unhealthy relationship that becomes overly obsessive to where it starts fucking with his mind quite a bit, to where if anybody starts talking shit, destroying, looking at, or saying something wrong or uncomfortable about the car, not only will Arnie's feelings get hurt, but the car's feelings will get hurt as well. So if you kill the car, well, it'll just come back to life, because this car's got herself a nice little beauty where once she sucks down some bubble juice, well, she will just bulk out and Hulk out. So, just like Hulk Hogan when he rips his shirt off, or if he's fucking just down for the count 1, 2, he just literally kicks up and he starts hulking up. That's what happens to Christine, is that she literally, once her ass gets smashed up, she just starts to bulk out once she starts getting herself some love and the fucking fans start clapping. But Arnie himself, he's the one who ends up loving the car, starts clapping, and tells Christine just to show me what she can do. So, he's out to seek revenge on the bullies and against everyone who starts to reject the car. So, this movie itself is really freaking good. Now, here's what I have to give a lot of props for, is that the source material, like, taking a concept where you see a car, like an average car that you would, like just any type of car, whether it's past or present, at least around this time frame, where you will see a car and just think to yourself, you know what, this car has a fucking story to it, whether it's good or bad. Christine, on the other hand, this story of this particular car, which is so beautiful to look at, but has a very deadly past, literally, and a lot of baggage. Again, literally. So, you really do learn about Christine's past, of who the original owner was for this car and exactly what happened, not only to the original owner, but also to the car itself, of how she literally sat there waiting for so long until somebody saw her, fell in love, bought her, and obviously fixed her up, making her look good as new. But the thing is that when it comes to like the actual directing of shooting the car in action, whether if it was driving or if it was the car causing some sort of mayhem, it was all practical effects, and John Carpenter is the type of director who will incorporate practical effects like the way he did for this movie, especially where you see the car getting damaged or hurt. Like the person who was driving the car, the stunt driver who was doing all the drifting and everything with the car, chasing down and whatnot, that is some really good skills and some good shots with the car in action like that, especially for it being a Plymouth, and what the car was able to do and how the driver was able to use that to its advantage to make it look good throughout the film is really great. But also the practical effects, like once Arnie starts getting himself upset, specifically the car, once her feelings starts getting hurt, she starts unloading some sort of gas, or she starts squeezing in the person who's driving it and whatnot, or once she's all crunched up, once she's given the word, she literally fixes herself up. And you want to know what's great about that? If any car can do that, to where once it gets like a damage or smashed up, and all of a sudden you just tell it, please fix yourself or show me what you can do, that's pretty unique if you ask me. It'll save you a lot of fucking money in bills, damages, reports, or insurance discussions, or any of that type of crap. Arnie, I gotta give this fucking dude props. The fact that he was able to spend like $200 or $300 for this car or whatever it was, and the fact that he just had to tell her, just fix yourself up, show me what you can do, he saved himself a lot of fucking money from just even going to a fucking auto repair to get the car fixed up. saving himself a lot of money for that. He didn't even have to worry about getting a job. Lots of props, and plus I'm sure he ended up getting himself unlimited amounts of gas in the car too. But a little TLC for the car is all she asked for, and that's that. But let's talk about Arnie. Now, we see his character developing. Like, this is one of those stories to where you can't necessarily really get behind the character itself, especially with how he looks and everything, but it's a developmental process where you'll see Arnie starting getting very defensive, reluctant, and just really, really obsessive to where it changes his whole entire mentality a lot, which kind of brings me the psychological element adding to this film. Now, again, the car has got a haunting past where clearly, assumingly, the original owner is still attached to the car, and obviously that paranormal possession is still attached within the car itself. Also, speaking with that, it affects Arnie's mentality, where you start to get that evil of what was in the car affecting Arnie's mentality. Now, he doesn't necessarily yell or rant or get rageous. He still has that calm demeanor to him. He's just a little more evil and possessive within the eyes, to where he's just like drained physically. Mentally, not so much. He's just like telling his parents, his closest friend, his girlfriend, just everything about what's going on. I mean, sure, he loves his girlfriend, but once he starts getting attached to the car so much, he'll be like that one freaking guy in that documentary who had an obsession with that one car that he had a little liking to. But it wasn't that case in this movie, not at all. It's just that he just grows to love this car that he was able to buy with his own money, and he's not necessarily aware of the past that happened within the car itself. Will you shut the fuck up, you goddamn cricket? But continuing on, Arnie himself, he ends up having this relationship with the car that's just, like I said, overly obsessive, and where his friends, his girlfriend, his parents are really getting worried about his connection with the car itself. Obviously, you see that Arnie wants the revenge against the bullies who made his life hell, which he is, well, in the qualifications of getting, because, well, once he's behind the wheel and he has the car, let's say he's making everyone else's lives a living hell, both either for good and later for the bad. Good for him because he's able to get his revenge that he wants, but later for the bad because the people who care about him are worried, and Arnie's just not really caring anymore. And he's just becoming a complete fucking just gothic, emo-looking individual, but not necessarily that way. So, I gotta tell you, man, the movie itself, like I said, the story itself is really freaking great. Seeing how the car has a dark past, you see how all the characters are talking with one another. The character development for Arnie, how he becomes from a nerd to a literally dark, evil-like, possessive mindset, where you see the understanding and you learn from how his connection with the car itself just not only takes over, but also how the film itself was shot, that John Carpenter was literally able to take actions and looks of the car and everything and create the scenes that you see in this entire film is just really, really good stuff. Like, really freaking good. Seeing the Plymouth in action, how she looks, how Carpenter was able to take the camera and make the car just look good as it did. Really good stuff. The story itself, it's not one of those films where it scares me or it's chilling or it's haunting. For me, it's one of those horror films where I'm just having the time of my fucking life watching this, seeing how this dude is behind the wheel, getting his revenge. Obviously, seeing the final showdown and whatnot of how he's able to have a confrontation, seeing how the car is able to bring herself back to life. The practical effects of this film is so fucking great. Really, really good. Really, really good stuff. And all the love for John Carpenter for doing such things like this. For making a car come back to life like it does, angrier and better than ever. Really, really good stuff. Now, as for all the supporting characters, the acting and performances were really good, especially with Arnie interacting with his best friend and whatnot. I mean, I give all the credit in the world for this movie. God damn. So, the film itself, I gave Christine a 4 out of 5. It's one of the John Carpenter films that I absolutely enjoy watching. It's really, really freaking good. Really good storytelling. It is fun. It's got that supernatural / psychological horror element. It's creative, using a car as a symbolic horror element instead of creating somebody of like a humanoid figure. You got yourself an object like a car that is possessed, creating havoc, whether it was for the good use of good or use of bad, mostly for bad later on. The car itself is a beauty. The way that the car was used as like a speed racing automobile was fucking fantastic. And the movie itself is so fucking fun to watch. So, folks, that's going to do it for my little talk on Christine for you all. And with that being said, let me know down below your thoughts about this movie, and ciao for now.